How's it going, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the Great Ace Attorney Resolve Blind. So, last time, we finally tracked down Enoch Drebber. He was hiding in a safe. And Dr. Scythe came in and kicked us out of the investigation of the room. And then, the freaking kinesis machine at the Great Exhibition blew up because he set a bomb there. And a couple cops probably died. So, that's where we are now. Oh, yeah, and I almost forgot. We're going to be facing Kazuma in court. So, a lot to unpack in this episode. Let's hop in. Good morning to you, Ms. Naruhodo. I heard my ship blew up. Oh, good morning, Inspector. Professor, ready for today's proceedings? I have nothing to live for anymore. I hope so. Well, I should be. Even I, with nothing left to... Good morning, my dear fellows. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're here. Why, naturally, a true gentleman stands shoulder to shoulder with his friends in battle at all times. Thank you, I really appreciate it. I'll see you later, then. Okay. Now, Professor, we really need you to remain calm in the courtroom today.
Yes, do your hardest to not enter the witness stand uninvited again.
Yes, I will. I realize it was a mistake, but, my dear fellows, I must interject. Oh, you're still here, Mr. Sholmes? What's the matter? Surely you've overlooked some praise, have you not? To be cast in my direction, Sorry? I don't follow. Must I spell it out? I, the great Herlock Sholmes, the greatest detective of worldwide acclamation, arose at some ungodly hour to be here now. First thing in the morning. A miracle, you must agree. Well, if I must agree, then... As you know, my sleep is quite impregnable. Iris had to employ a full gaunt of gamut of taxes? Oh my god. She pulled the covers off, shook me, poked both cheeks, punched me and kicked me from the fucking bed.
Oh wow.
Then she poured a boiling cup of her latest experimental blend on my face, and at last I was bestirred. Yeah, you should have third-degree burns.
You
On
should.
your face.
Oh my, Iris has been busy.
Iris doesn't have an inner to go that far. She's too nice. Says the spirit of a fellow scientist, one who relishes the infinite possibilities of blending tea. I'm the one worthy of praise here, not Iris. This is my victory.
Yeah, okay, buddy.
Sorry
Who
to
is
cut
that?
in.
Ew.
Oh.
Oh. It's always
Oh my-
Gregson.
Oh, Inspector Gregson. Good morning. Gregson, my dear fellow. Why the grim expression at this delightfully early hour? Because the fucking crime scenes got blown up? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because I've been confronted with a grimmer expression, huh? Dear me. Are you going to take that insult lying down, Professor? What? What? I don't know. Poor Professor. Anyway, here's the paperwork you asked for. What paperwork? Well, I took the liberty of requesting it yesterday. I have a feeling that it may prove useful. You wouldn't believe the hoops I had to jump through just to get this brought out of the archives. It's the professor's autopsy report.
Oh shit.
Oh, finally.
That mass murderers?
Who killed 5 members of the aristocracy? He was found guilty in a closed trial 10 years ago now. It was all done under wraps. And he was quickly executed soon after the trial. It's all in here. I don't know what to say. Thank you, Inspector. Yes, much obliged, Gregson. Us lowly lot at the yard are just doing what we can. In the shadows of the great Detective Sholmes, of course. Well then, Professor Hairbrain, this is it. Today, we're gonna lay all this to rest at last, and we're finally gonna see Kazuma in court.
Yeah. That's gonna be so weird.
Yeah.
I wish you the best of luck, Professor. You're
So
gonna
I'm
need
assuming
it.
Dr. Scythe is gonna be taking the stand. Obviously, Enoch Drebber is gonna be taking the stand, and then
Right.
we're gonna see Kazuma. I wonder if Von Zies is gonna be working with Kazuma, or if he's just gonna be alone.
I don't know.
I suppose he'll be in here today, will he? Drebber.
Drebber.
Yes, we expect the prosecution to summon him as a witness.
I'm still amazed that you managed to find him in just one day. I really owe you both so much. Counsel and the defendant. The trial is about to resume. Kindly make your way into the courtroom at once before I slap your ass. I shouldn't do that anyway, but get in there.
I guess we
This is
didn't
it.
blow up after all.
The final chapter. Funny, my heart's racing a little. I've not felt this before, actually. This strange foreboding. As if something's gonna happen in this trial that I'm not ready for. But I can't let that distract me from the only thing that really matters.
And this is where the
Finding the
Naruhodo
truth.
bloodline experienced anxiety for the first time.
What, is the courtroom gonna blow up? Is that what the
I don't
foreboding
know.
is?
That's great. That's great.
Oh boy, here we go.
24th October, 9:30 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session.
Again.
We resume the public hearing of Albert Harebrain, here present, who stands accused for murder.
Again.
On the counsels for the prosecution and defense ready to proceed. Wow. The prosecution is ready, my lord.
This is my son.
My boy. The defense is ready, my lord. Damn. We'd never had a 2v2 in court before.
Yeah, this is
In
cool.
any game. As promised, Lord Von Zeeks has his apprentice with him. His apprentice with memory loss. I have my
Yeah,
trusty
he's
tomato.
stupid.
Wow. If I may, Lord Von Zeeks. Yes, my lord. What the fuck? There appears to be someone standing at your side. And why does he have his hood up and a mask on?
Tell him to take the hood down. He's in court.
Ah, yes, my apprentice and assistant. The prosecution believes today's proceedings will see the complexity of this case rise considerably. Oh my god.
Oh, shit!
I therefore instructed my assistant to attend to ensure the smooth running of the trial and to uncork my wine.
How is he gonna help you at all if he can't even remember anything ever?
The smooth running of liquid refreshments by the look of it.
The way he holds himself, the way he moves. We're so much cooler than him. It couldn't be anyone else.
Yeah, I sure look cool, guys. Look at my cold sweat.
We're freaking awesome.
But he's still suffering from amnesia. So there's really nothing we can do at the moment. We got this shit in the bag.
Yeah, we got this shit. I know, but oh, this is so very hard.
It would appear the prosecution has done a fine job in responding to the demands of the court made yesterday. I understand you have successfully secured the engineer who disappeared from the scene on the day in question. Yes, my lord. I intend to call him as a witness shortly. Very good, very good. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this courtroom today? Are you ready and willing to proceed?
No! I can't remember who was who in this.
I was juror number 5, I think.
Oh,
You're
okay.
everybody else.
Of course, my lord. I'm sure we all understand the importance
Oh
of
my
doing our
God.
civic duty. I do so despise deception and deceit. I find it so very wearing. To take a man's life with a conjuring trick, it is against the magician's code, not to mention the law.
Alright, this one was mine. Any fake scientist should feel the wrath of God if you ask me. Ew.
We have to listen to what's been said on both sides of the fence and then settle on one. That's it, isn't it?
I feel like you should be him too, 'cause I don't know if I can do anything deeper in Rasputin.
day. Wasn't like this at all. Okay. Full parties are ready to
I hate
proceed.
all of you.
You may begin, Lord Von Zeeks. Before I do, my lord, there is a purport I must read to the court. Give it to me. Thank you. Yesterday,
go.
at the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, the evidence of primary importance is this case. Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine, which was installed on the experimentation stage. That's right, it's super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine. Does anybody else need a repeat of that?
The super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine?
Was deliberately destroyed in an explosion affected by an unknown person or persons. The instantaneous voltage, whatever the fucking shit. Yeah.
Yeah, he has amnesia too. It was what?
Explosion.
Put that shit down, my guy.
This is an outrage. Spit all over my mic doing it. Yes, I heard this grave news yesterday. Scotland Yard submitted a report to my office in the evening, and all of Scotland Yard was wiped out.
Damn.
I read that the machine was blasted to smithers, and the wreckage reduced to ashes in the flames. I have here a photographic print of the scene taken in the wake of the explosion. Well, it shows what little remains of the machine. Yes, a terrible business. The machine. He did it to destroy the evidence, did he?
That's Enoch Drebber.
The court will take this print as evidence, counsel. Late yesterday afternoon, the protection afforded to the machine by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act was revoked. However, before a thorough investigation could begin, the invention was obliterated from existence. As such, this will become a very different trial. Well, what do you mean by that? As it stands now, with no evidence on which to draw meaningful conclusions, the authenticity of the kinesis machine will remain forever in obscurity. Indeed. A most unfortunate state of affairs. However, one thing remains clear. The victim's death was the result of the actions of the accused. Of that we can be certain. For it was the accused himself who was operating the machine and who ultimately caused its loss of control.
Objection!
As Lord Von Zieks rightly says, this is a very different trial now. What? The accused accepts responsibility for his part in the events that transpired. He acknowledges that Mr. Osmond died as a result of the accident caused by his machine's malfunction. However, unbeknownst to the professor, he was being deliberately deceived by a pair of very clever fraudsters. Names, counsel, if you please. The engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber, and the victim himself, Mr. Odious Man. Was he odious? Very.
Very.
So what exactly were these two men up to behind the defendant's back? The defense intends to expose that information, thus
Stabbing him?
The innocence of the defendant is very real.
What? This guy's a sham!
Get him out of here. It's fucking fraud. Thank you, counsels. The positions of the prosecution and the defense have clearly been stated. Lord Von Zieks, summon your first witness, please. At once, my lord. The prosecution calls the engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber, to the stand. Hi.
Hello, I am a robot.
State your name and occupation for the court. Name, Enoch Drebber. Occupation. Hard to pin down, I would say. Ha, ha, ha.
See that black monocle? Yes, why do I feel as though I've seen it somewhere before? I'm French.
You too? I had exactly the same feeling myself.
I feel like...
You're really fucking annoying. Your file indicates that you are currently being investigated in connection with another case. In the theft of a waxwork model, is it? Most extraordinary sounding business. But that has no bearing on this trial, I assure you. Cleave it from your mind. You're familiar with the public experiment carried out with the Great Exhibition some days ago.
I thought he was gonna say you're familiar with cleaving.
The accused super high voltage instantaneous kinesis demonstration. What? Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis? Yes, you could say that. I am aware of it.
I'm a pro at
There was.
instantaneous whatever the fuck.
A terrible accident, wasn't there? Give it to me. It was you, Mr. Drebber, who constructed the vast machine used in the experiment. So our investigations indicate. Can you confirm your involvement? Yes, I constructed it, in precise accordance with the blueprints, but that's all. Then the court would be very interested to hear your thoughts about the machine, I'm sure. An amazing device, if you ask me. The pinnacle of modern science, making instantaneous kinesis a reality at last. What? Good gracious. Do you mean to say that the experiment was a bona fide? A bona fide? Is that your belief, sir? Yes, that is very much my belief. Such a waste that it blew up.
Objection!
Now, we've already established the machine was nothing more than a prop for an elaborate conjuring trick.
Objection!
You've established nothing of the sort. My assistant is gone.
I told
Now he's
him
back.
Oh, now he's back. What the fuck?
All that was shown during yesterday's proceedings is that the same outcome could have been produced by the means of staged trickery. The defense merely proposed a method and demonstrated its feasibility, nothing more. But... We've procrastinated long enough, I feel. Witness, will you now give your formal testimony about the machine that you constructed for the purpose of the demonstration at the Great Exhibition? Understood.
Alright, here we
The
go.
kinesis machine. I met the young professor approximately 1 year ago through Mr. Osmond's introduction. He provided me with the blueprints and I constructed the machine to his precise specifications. It was no trick. If the whole show was a fraud, it would have required a body double. Tell me, did the victim have a twin? All the spectators saw the birdcage appear above their heads and then crash headfirst into the crystal tower. A terrible accident, I grant you. Perhaps the science on which the machine was built was flawed somehow. A body double? That goes without saying, surely. To give the impression that something has moved when in reality it hasn't, a basic conjuring principle. The deception cannot be achieved without substituting the original with the fake at some point in the performance. But would I be right in saying you haven't managed to establish anything along those lines? Incidentally, the prosecution has already confirmed that Mr. Osmond had no twin siblings. It's my understanding that the witness is well versed in conjuring awfulness. But such talents do not indicate that he was actually able to accomplish what he claims. Namely, the construction of what, by all accounts, must have been an extremely complex scientific machine. Whatever do you mean? Yesterday's proceedings brought the true nature of your past exploits to light, Mr. Drebber. Indeed it did, my lord. As a swindler who preys on innocent scientists to elicit government grant money through conjuring know-how. Yes, it's true that I possess considerable knowledge of stage magic. But crucially, my scientific knowledge more than matches any scientific academic fucking bitch in the field. Investigation of the witnesses workshop attends to that claim, my lord. As evidence, the police found this Royal Society trophy for young talent in science there.
Yes, that's true. We spotted it there ourselves.
I didn't ask. If the hypothesis is sound, it can always be forged into a physical manifestation with sufficient skill. Though I may have sold the secrets of some deceptive wiles to sniveling, talentless scientists in the past. Would you therefore assert that the explosion of the machine was
Loud.
an unfortunate accident, or, of course, a deliberate act of murder carried out by the misuse of science?
What the fuck?
Ha ha ha.
You're freaky.
Okay, weirdo. Counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, please. Yes, my lord. I'm gonna win. Alright. Press everything. So you're already acquainted with Mr. Osmond himself? Not really. By chance, I'd seen his name mentioned in the papers, that's all. But I had no interest in his private affairs. If he was a scrupulous fuckhead, it was of no concern of mine. As long as people pay their bills, I take up my tools to construct what they ask for. So why did Mr. Osmond approach you in particular, then?
I don't
Who
know.
can say? I presume because my name is associated with excellence in engineering. Not to mention excellence in fraud. Fuck you. Hard to gauge, but the point is, all I did was construct the machine according to the blueprints I was given. In other words, the kinesis machine was built on solid scientific principles. Yes, you might say that. Professor Hairbrain certainly has a mind like no other. Because he's brainless.
Hold it!
It's clear that you have both scientific knowledge and knowledge of conjuring magic, however. The more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to handle whatever comes along. But your implication is that I furnished the machine with some trickery, I think. It's a possibility that we have to explore. Unfortunately, though, the machine has been blown to Kingdom Come.
Yeah, we remember.
We were there, so there's really nothing left to explore, is there? It appears that the kinesis machine was fitted with a time explosive device of some kind. And there's nothing left of that device either. Not a single shred of evidence remaining, I hear.
Why are you like this?
He must have planned all this from the outset. But in any case, It's abundantly clear that the experiment couldn't have been a trick. Because I said so.
Hold it!
Of course, that's it! Mr. Osmond was a twin.
Objection!
Or not.
No, he wasn't.
Perhaps my learned friend wasn't listening earlier. Mr. Osmond had no twin siblings. No, I heard you before. But the thread of hope hadn't quite left me.
The demonstration could have been a trick if there was somebody who looked sufficiently like the victim. But Dr. Scythe absolutely ruled out that possibility.
Are you ever going to say anything?
Also, how many
beyond
scrolls are
question.
there?
That the victim himself, Mr. Osmond, did move from the stage of the Crystal Tower. The fingerprints found at the scene attest to the fact.
So it can't have been orchestrated using someone who looked identical to Mr. Asmund, then. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, no, nothing. Just that the idea of someone who looked identical to the victim is playing on my mind.
Hold it!
It crashed head first, you say? According to the many witness reports from those there at the time, yes. Were you not there at the exhibition grounds on the day? Unlikely. I rarely leave my workshop. Yet another of your unique inventions was found at the scene. Fuck. Well, it was the unveiling of a machine I'd labored over for many months. I saw it clearly with my own eyes, the birdcage plummeting headfirst into the tower. What a surprise. I believe the victim's neck was broken from the headlong fall, wasn't it?
Goddamn. For a second, that kind of sounded like you wrote that line and not an official one. His neck fucking broke.
How would you have come by that information? Even an infernal recluse like me reads the newspapers, you know. According to the reports, 2 injuries were apparent on the victim's body. Yes, he'd been stabbed in the chest by a screwdriver, named Andrew, by the way, believed to belong to the defendant. And he had broken vertebrae as a result of the fall from considerable height. Correct. My Lord Fred has been doing his research, it seems. Do we know which injury was the fatal one? Sadly not. Forensic science is not yet at a level where such things can be determined. What we do know is that the victim died having sustained both injuries at some point during the experiment, and since he was found in the birdcage with his neck broken, it's obvious that he fell from considerable height. I suppose that's hard to deny. Alright, final statement.
Hold it!
So you understood the science, did you? Not in the slightest. Oh, right. What? As I've said a number of times, I'm an engineer. My job is to manufacture according to the blueprints I'm given. I would be inviting manifold problems if I foolishly allowed my brain to digest the ideas behind them. I could be accused of stealing those ideas, for example. But how is it possible to construct a machine without really understanding the principles it relies on? Well, you're practicing law without really understanding the principles it relies on, aren't you? He's spitting. A very good point.
He's spitting.
Stand up for yourself, Mr. Naruhodo.
I'm already standing.
Stand harder.
The point is, the experiment resulted in instantaneous kinesis taking place. As such, the science must be sound. Yes, and really, experimental results are all that matters when it comes to proving a hypothesis. He's certainly very sure of himself.
What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, now that the machine has been completely destroyed by yesterday's explosion, it's going to be impossible to argue its authenticity one way or the other.
But if we're unable to establish that it was a piece of stage trickery rather than a genuine science, we will have no grounds on which to demonstrate Professor Harebrain's innocence.
Both Mr. Osmond and this man in the stand tricked the professor and used him. They took advantage of his naivete, and his unbending belief in his work, and I won't let them get away with it. Seeing as the professor is an old friend of Lord Von Zieg's, what on earth must he be feeling towards Drebber? Alright, so we already pressed everything, so now we need to present. So I met the young professor approximately 1 year ago during his introduction. He provided me with the blueprints and I constructed the machine to his precise specifications. It was no trick. If the whole show was a fraud, it would have required a body double. Did the victim have a twin?
I feel like that
Probably
has to be a
not.
waxwork.
Yeah.
So should we maybe use either the waxwork head and or the balloon envelope like skin thing?
Alright, what is
I don't know why I called it a skin, but
Yeah, I think the most likely thing would probably be this.
Objection!
Damn. Well, that didn't work. Overruled. The fence will die. Okay, this is true. Is there a photo in here? No. The cover came open.
wow.
Yes, now there should be a glass plate inside. You have to change the plate with each new photograph you want to take, you see?
Something wrong?
There is no plate. It's been removed.
Ah, what a pity. I suppose if you think about it, this wouldn't be the actual camera that was used at the time, just like the waxwork isn't the actual person. So we never have found a photographic print of the exceeded convict coming back to life anyway.
Oh, yes, you're quite right, of course.
Poor Susato-san. She looks devastated. There is a lock here. This lock does look very strong, doesn't it? There's definitely no way you could remove the mask yourself if it was put on you.
What a terrible way to treat someone, even a convicted criminal.
I know, it's starting to make me livid, actually.
Mr. Naruhodo, please.
I mean, just think about it. Imagine if you had an itch on your cheek all of a sudden. You'd be utterly helpless.
That sounds like an actual fucking nightmare. Well, yes, that's true. But I'm not sure that warrants quite so much as anger. What?
Oh, right, sorry. Okay. I'm not sure.
Did you try the green yet or no?
No, not yet. Let's see. We're unable to establish it was a piece of stage trickery rather than genuine science while no grounds to stand on. So maybe this? It was no trick? Maybe this is where the waxwork comes in?
Objection!
Fuck. Is that odds? Okay.
Okay. Do we have blueprints? We have blueprints, right? Like, don't we have actual ones?
No, we don't. All we
For
have
some
is
reason
the
I thought
sketch.
we did. Oh yeah, that is what I was thinking of. Okay.
Objection!
I'm stupid.
Objection, I'm stupid. Okay, let's read all of them again. He provided me with blueprints. I constructed the machine to precise specifications. Met the young professor. Whole show was a fraud. Try the green on there.
Objection!
No.
Graham?
Maybe, let me check the photograph of the victim. Because, like, this glass was found in the clothing of the waxwork.
Oh,
so we
yeah,
know
I
it was
forgot
there.
about that.
I just don't know how to connect that.
Objection.
Did you present the glass? You
No,
did,
not
right?
yet.
Oh.
No. I'm about to lose them. Well, you're fucking stupid. No, my lord, wait. Die.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Ooh, guilty speed run. Kill yourself. Let me try that. Okay. Wait a minute, is it gonna say it crashed down with the victim inside and the crystal tower causing damage to the base? If it crashed head first, wouldn't it hit the head and not the base?
Objection.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay, it was just a matter of reading the evidence properly. We've examined the birdcage that crashed into the crystal tower ourselves. As you can see, the cage, which is a wooden construction, has sustained damage in one particular spot. Following the explosion, it fell some 30 feet into the glass of the crystal tower. Level of damage is to be expected, surely. I agree. The damage itself is entirely understandable. What doesn't make sense is the location of that damage. Oh. All the breakages in the wood are at the base of the birdcage, not the top. What are you saying?
Ooh, I like that. It's great.
That's the opposite of where they should be. That's right, my lord. The birdcage that was at the scene is damaged at its base. So we have a report of the birdcage falling headlong into the crystal tower, yet the damage is at the bottom.
Explain that.
The only way to reconcile these two facts is to accept that there were two bird cages in play that day, which were at some point switched. Switched during what wasn't a scientific experiment at all, but an elaborate piece of stage trickery. Ugh.
Why is that part red?
Yeah,
Why
well.
was that part red? That was weird.
Good gracious. Explain yourself, witness. Aye. Well. My assistant is gone again. If we examine the facts, there's only one logical conclusion we can draw. The damage on the base of the birdcage clearly indicates that it crashed tail first into the tower.
Objection.
But multiple witness reports claim that it fell headfirst. The birdcage materialized in the sky next to a balloon flying over the stage following a spontaneous explosion, at an altitude of some 60 feet above ground level.
Which is approximately 18 meters.
It then proceeded to fall some 30 feet to the crystal tower in the ensuing deflagration. He's back. Witness reports amid such chaos are notoriously unreliable.
Objection.
Sick of Kazuma.
But the victim's neck was broken.
Objection!
Nuh-uh.
He plummeted 30 feet inside a heavy wooden cage. However he fell, it would be unsurprising to find one or two of his vertebrae crushed. Vertebrae? Kuh. A riveting scientific analysis of events from the prosecution there. Though to be even more rigorous, you would have to say it was only one vertebra, actually. Who gives a fuck? It wasn't quiet for long.
I find it hard to see what's motivating Lord Von Zieks. This witness is clearly a swindler, and one who deceived a personal friend of his.
If you're going to establish this deception, do it right.
Sorry?
I feel like that's the undertone here. Ah, yes, and there's one more point. The defense appears to have forgotten. It obviously wasn't a trick, as a certain truth will very plainly demonstrate. What? It seems to me that the cross-examination had better continue until we resolve this matter. Mr. Drebber, you will amend your testimony with details of this truth. Of course, we must treat the matter scientifically after all. I nearly had him there. Bitch. The kinesis clearly took place because there's nowhere else 30 feet high for the birdcage to have fallen from. Okay, this is where the balloon is going to come into play.
Oh, okay. Oh, because it was inside the balloon.
Yeah. What do you mean? Well, before the demonstration began, The victim was alive on the stage in front of the audience. Yes, there are lots of witnesses who saw Mr. Osmond on the experimentation stage, that's true. And the victim's neck broke as a result of an impact following a fall. Logically, therefore, the victim must have fallen from somewhere. The balloon that exploded was at an altitude of 60 feet.
Of 30 feet.
The point of impact on the tower was 30 feet up. The difference of 30 feet is therefore the total distance the birdcage fell. And there's no other location from which the cage could have fallen that distance if it didn't drop out of the sky. Ergo, the victim himself must have been beamed from the stage into the sky above the crystal tower. A trenchant scientific analysis. Dear me, every time I hear it explained, it sounds increasingly plausible. Oh yes, it's all very well thought out.
Certainly all the spectators on the day saw it. The birdcage plummeting 30 feet through the air, I mean.
Irritatingly, yes. Alright.
Yeah, we already got this.
So it's probably this.
Yes.
Objection!
I was wrong.
What? I'm so confident about that one.
Because I remember during the last trial, they said, yeah, the victim was inside the balloon, and that's where he fell from. Okay, if it wasn't that, then maybe it's this one.
Objection!
No? I'm not wrong. Clearly there's a place there's nowhere for else 30 feet high for the birdcage to have fallen from. Okay, well I guess it's not any of those things. Here?
Objection!
Bruh. This is a diagram of the experimentation stage and its surroundings. I was literally talking about the balloons. If he was about to bring that up, bro, the other one should have worked if he talks about the balloons. We know that somehow the birdcage appeared in midair before falling down to the crystal tower. Oh. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters. However, if you examine the diagram carefully, you'll see that there's one other possible location from which the birdcage could have fallen. The same distance of 30 feet. No. Well, it appears the defense has a possible explanation to put forward. Go ahead, counsel. He's about to say the balloon. Yes, my lord, of course. You will indicate the place to which you were referring to on the same diagram.
Balloon.
The alternate, well, it has to be here.
Take that!
If it had fallen from here, it would have...
Objection!
Okay, I guess I'm stupid then. Maybe it wasn't the balloon. That's my learned friend's claim. I suggest he demonstrates for the court personally. Jump from the balloon. Huh? And you may consider it... What is it then?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, what did he just say? Oh, okay. Don't fall from 60 feet. Wish the birdcage could have fallen from the requisite 30 feet.
What about the slant on the fucking the Eiffel Tower over there? I feel like that's
Yeah.
definitely not right, but I was just like,
What about this
I don't
balloon?
know.
Take that!
I'm...
Objection!
Must be stupid.
Him, that makes no fucking sense.
Am I just insane? I swear they talked about the victim being in the balloon when it popped.
And we just saw a mini
Guilty.
version of it.
Guilty! Guilty!
Guilty!
Guilty!
Guilty!
I love that last one so much.
Girl. What am I missing? Die. Okay, well, it's not the balloons then. Sure, we'll try to
Take
use the
that!
tower itself.
Objection!
Maybe you should also fall off something.
Can you do like directly above the body? Like, did it just fucking fall from whatever is off the page, off screen?
Objection!
Andy, listen to me. We're gonna get them wrong anyway, so just do it.
Alright. I just want to see if the gun was
Like, I just want to see if like they just fucking dropped it from it directly above there.
So what, are you
Like
saying
maybe
here?
someone's in, yeah, like someone's in the window and they just fucking pushed it and then you. Damn it!
Objection!
I would have laughed if that had actually worked.
Okay. I already tried
Okay,
these
did
balloons.
Did it roll up the wall from the ground?
Maybe did it fall directly underneath?
Take that!
Bro, this is
Objection!
like that fucking. Well, no, actually, it's not even like that. It's every time an Ace Attorney game has a fucking diagram. I feel like this is the shit that happens. You're like, oh, slightly to the left.
Are we gonna just... Well, no, that wouldn't make sense. I was gonna say...
Did you already do underneath the
I was-
gun part?
I was
in
about
the
to
little egg-shaped thing?
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Take that!
Oh my god!
What? How?
That makes no sense. Then that means it did actually fucking teleport.
But that's where the birdcage should have been to begin with.
Yes, that was all a part of our plan. We got it right on the first try. You are just an idiot.
Yes, there was a birdcage. What we must also consider is that the height of the stage itself was around that height, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of
Um,
like tall, you know.
It turns out that the experimentation stage was built at a considerable height above ground level. If you look at the diagram, in fact,
We pushed it so fast that it just freaking went over there.
you'll see it's about the same height above the ground as the balloon was above the crash site. So is he saying that the second birdcage is the one that they saw and they're claiming to have witnessed, and the real height that he fell from was the one on the stage? I'm guessing. He's saying.
I have no idea because everything you just said to me sounds like fucking nothing. I don't know if I'm stupid or what.
When the experiment got underway, the machine and the birdcage were engulfed in steam.
And then we dragged it over. Oh!
Bruh. At that moment, the floor of the stage gave way, and if we assume there to be a void underneath, this birdcage and the one seen by the audience would have fallen almost exactly the same distance.
That makes sense. Now. Oop.
Well, if that's the case, that's fucking insane.
Yeah,
Once
that is
again, my
crazy.
lord. This all points to the fact that there was not one birdcage, but two.
Objection!
My learned friend has no evidence that this stage had such a contrivance in its design. Someone is responsible for the criminal destruction of the Ace machine itself, it's true. However, the stage still stands. And take a moment to look at the photographic print of the scene following yesterday's explosion. Good lord, the metal grill that formed the floor of the machine is undone. Yes, smoke likely blown open by the force of the explosion that destroyed the rest of the machine. The defense calls for the space below the stage to be investigated. Immediately. No. Mr. Drebber. It was you who built the kinesis machine, which means that it was you who built the two bird cages that were used to carry out this deception. Whether Professor Harebrain's hypothesis is sound or not makes no difference, because it's the construction of this machine that matters, a machine designed to take Mr. Osmond's life. And lay the blame firmly at the professor's door, something that could only be carried out by you, Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Whoa, whoa.
Wow, this door's freaking weird.
Objection!
Open. Thank you. Can I have some, Master? My Lord Fred has reached the end of his wild assertions. Alright. The prosecution would like to crush the defense's arguments slowly, but surely. What? Your argument fails to hold water. On 2 counts. 2? Firstly, before and after the experiment, this witness went nowhere near the Kinesis machine. Every relevant member of staff from the exhibition has attested to that. Now, I believe members of the Scotland Yard have also been on watch duty every public experiment. In other words, Mr. Drebber had no opportunity to switch the alleged pair of bird cages.
Objection!
But I've already explained why he wouldn't have needed to. The nonsense with the crossbow? That doesn't bolster your case at all. The man who disappeared from the stage and the man who crashed into the tower are one and the same. The forensic investigation team's report is unequivocal on that point. Ugh, screw him. And the second flaw in your assertion is a distinct lack of motive. Why would this man have wanted to take the victim's life? He had no reason to do so. A motive? Do I have to think of everything myself?
Does Kazuma just have a giant pile of scrolls?
I guess so. Is he gonna say anything?
No, probably
I have
not.
here a contract provided by the witness. What contract is this, Lord Von Zieks? The contract to which Mr. Drebber entered with the victim, Mr. Osmond. It reads, Mr. Drebber is to receive 30% of all remuneration. Yes, okay, whatever. For government grants or other income. 30%, certainly very favorable contractual conditions. But there was one very important provision bolted onto that clause. What provision? Mr. Drebber may only uphold this right on conditions that both contracting parties are alive. In other words, if either one of us were to die, the contract would become null and void. So you see, I had nothing to gain from Mr. Osmond's death. The diametric opposite, in fact. Ugh. Need I say more? The witness had neither an opportunity nor a reason to commit the alleged crime. In short, the possibility of Mr. Drebber having done as you suggest is nil. What? Ha ha. Seems the defense's assertion was somewhat wide of the mark. Lord Von Zieks, you will submit the contract as evidence, please. Damn it. It's true. If Drebber had no opportunity to switch the birdcage under the stage with the one in the Crystal Tower, he couldn't have done it. And in any case, I have no idea what his motive might have been.
There is one aspect of your argument that still holds true, however. There were 2 bird cages. The prosecution is unable to deny that.
Ugh.
So I'm sure you're on the right lines, Mr. Naruhodo. And I've no doubt that there are other aspects of your assertion that are undeniable truths, too.
Well, it would seem that the defense has no rejoinder to offer. Get fucked, nerd. Well, I must say I'm a little surprised. I came here to testify about the machine I built, and instead my reputation is defiled. But the prosecution's counter has set the record straight, I think. It's impossible that I'm the culprit.
Objection!
No, you are the culprit. At the beginning of this trial, we believed that there was only 1 birdcage. Yet now we know there must have been 2. In other words, there was more than one to the demonstration than we realized at first. I think it's abundantly clear that the same applies to the culprit. Get to the point. The stage demonstration was constructed and set up as entirely you. Therefore, it's inconceivable that you had no hand in the events that transpired. Grr.
Angry.
So if circumstances mean is it possible that you could have carried out the crime yourself? It points to the fact that someone else was involved. Someone else? Counsel, are you suggesting? Yes, my lord. Mr. Drebber had an accomplice. Unless I have to figure out who that accomplice is
Oh, shit.
in the next episode. Oh, snap. I feel a very crazy breakdown coming.
Yeah, me too.
So, as always, if you all enjoyed and want to show some love and support for the series and the channel, you know what to do. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you all in the next episode.